Sometimes in life, people shoot for their dreams, literally. Arick Souvanna grew up in Saginaw, Texas, a town known for hosting one of the largest Lao New Year celebrations in America. Arick is putting this tight-knit community on the map again, this time for precision rifle shooting. From building his own ammunition to traveling the country for competition, Arick is taking a shot at a dream. After competing for 4 years, he's won regional matches, placed as high as 6th in national events, and earned pro status in the Precision Rifle Series. In this episode, Arick will take us on a journey through the world of precision shooting, tell us about his hunting adventures, and give us a taste of his food truck, the Saucy Hibachi. So Arick, I'm John Messina, and then this is Co. We both run the Lao American Sports Hall of Fame, and Co had the idea to start this podcast. I don't know if you know him. He's a former professional bodybuilder. So we've been interviewing a lot of athletes. So we're excited to have you on tonight and hear all about what you're doing. So we'll go ahead, jump right into it. Co is going to kick us off here, and we'll get started.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of C4 Podcast, C4 Southeast Asian Athlete Achievement Through Adversity, where we focus on the stories of amazing athletes that have made huge strides, with their accomplishments. My name is Coach Andetka. I'm here with my co-host, John Messina. If you guys haven't already, please like, share our page, C4 Podcast on Facebook, Lao American Sports. On IG and Facebook. Today we have an amazing guest, and I am going to let my co-host John introduce him.
Yeah, welcome everybody to another episode. Before we get into this interview with Arick today, wanted to do something really quick and give a shout out to our friends Toby, Lucky, and Charles at the Now in Session podcast. These are 3 old friends coming back together to explore important topics, interview some incredible guests, talk about life and the Lao community. If you enjoy our show and like listening to podcasts, check out their show. They're on YouTube, Spotify, and give their IG a follow. So with that, we are now in session. Today's guest comes to us from Texas, and a big shout out to all of our fans out there in Texas. Texas is one of the largest states as far as listeners go to this podcast. So welcome everybody from Texas, and welcome Arick, who reigns from the DFW area. So we have Arick Souvanna today, and Arick is a precision rifle shooter and also an avid hunter from what we understand. So we had a lot of great feedback when we covered some, let's call it, I'd say non-traditional sports, the things like disc golf, cornhole, pickleball. People really like those episodes. So we wanted to bring Arick on to talk about the sports that he's in. So Arick, welcome to the show. We'd like to go ahead. Yeah, we'd like to go ahead and start at the beginning. Tell us a little bit tell us who you are, and tell us go all the way back to your family coming from Laos and what you know about that.
Okay. Well, my name's Arick Souvanna, and I'm from Fort Worth, Texas. I shoot a little bit of precision rifle, and I don't know too much about my family history. My mom was from Vientiane, and my father was from Takak, yeah. And they came here after the war in Laos, and met in San Diego. And a few years later moved to Texas, and that's where we all reside now, my whole family. So,
okay. So you were born in the States, huh?
Yeah, I was born here, yeah. Okay, cool. 84, so.
What year did your parents come over?
I want to say like 73, maybe. 76.
76. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. Well, good. So you grew up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Tell us a little bit about just what you did growing up and so forth.
Yeah. Just the basic childhood. We didn't have very much. There's a small community out here in Saginaw, in Texas, and that's where I grew up. And we have a temple there, and like maybe 5 or 6 streets, and they're all the Laos community. And my whole family lives on, my whole father's side of the family lives on one street. There's like 8 houses on that street.
Oh wow.
And yeah, it's pretty cool. So I mean, when when we get
Wait, what's the
together,
name of the street? What's the name of the street? Is it
Bob
Laotian
Hanger,
name? Huh?
Bob Hanger. No, it's
Okay,
not.
it's not a Laotian name.
No, but yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, we eat, we have get-togethers, and the family all
So,
comes, and we walk across the street, and it's pretty cool.
so Saginaw is
Man,
kind of known for a famous Lao New Year, right? One of the biggest in the
Yeah,
country.
so we do a real big Lao New Year's every year, and we host a big party, and we probably have 500-600 members in our group, and I mean altogether, it's man, I want to say five, maybe more than 10,000 maybe people come on
Wow.
Lao New Year's, and
wow.
it's 3 days of partying and drinking, and a bunch of celebrations, and a bunch of traditional things like. Just a bunch of stuff. It's
Yeah.
amazing. So
Well, that's great. Well, then tell us a little bit. You're into some pretty cool stuff, and I know hunting and stuff is very popular in Texas. But tell us, how'd you get into hunting and shooting?
okay, so hunting I just recently started about a year ago, but I started shooting in 2019, and that kind of progressed and led to hunting. A lot of the people in the shooting community, they went from hunting and they wanted to shoot further, and then they started doing the precision rifle, but it's the other way around for me. So,
Yeah, you went all the way.
but yeah, yeah. So I've only been hunting for a year, but I've done a few hunts, and it's pretty. I enjoy it. Yeah. So,
Wow.
but
So you started in 2019. Did you have when you were younger? Did you have like visions of hunting, of shooting, or did just 2019 come along and says, "Hey, man, this is what I want to do"? How did that all happen?
okay. So when I was younger, probably like teens, I was interested into guns, not really shooting long range or anything like that. Just it fascinated me. And
Hmm.
when I got old enough, I bought my first gun and I went to the range, tried it out. I enjoyed it. And my buddy, he lived not too far from here, but he owned a gun store, and I'd go up there all the time. And he took me out one time to shoot a long range rifle for the first time. So this was in 2018. I never shot past 100 yards, and I went out there and I shot something at 1,000 yards first time, and I used this gun and I was amazed. I was like,
Yeah,
wow, you can hit a target at 1,000 yards,
yeah, yeah.
multiple times, like consistently. So I was like, okay, I want to learn this. I thought it was cool. So
That's cool. That's cool.
yeah,
Wow.
and
Well, so tell us a little bit. I mean, we don't quite understand the sport. What is competitive shooting? How does it work? How do you score points? How do you kind of move up the ranks?
okay, so I'm in a league. It's called a Precision Rifle Series, and that's like the predominant long range uh, series in the U.S. And well, they're spreading now, but that's what I'm doing in the U.S. And pretty much it's the pro series is a 2 day competition, and it's about 20 stages. You shoot about 200 rounds, and each impact that you make is 1 point. So typically, if you miss 20 points, then you only gotta, if it's 200 rounds, you get 180 points for that match, and then you just stack it up against other shooters and stuff like that. But the way it works is you'll get typically like 2 minutes, and it's usually 10 rounds, and you'll engage like targets from 300 to 1,200 yards, and they'll start the time, and then you start going, and you'll get down, and you'll put your rifle down, and engage targets. Usually it's like four, three, four, five positions. You'll shoot, 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 and then move, and then shoot, 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 and yeah, and hopefully be done before 2 minutes. But yeah,
So
it's
let me ask you. You say it's a 2 day pro series. How do you qualify for that? How does one qualify? Can anybody just sign up and register, or do you have to perform, let's say, at a lower level and work your way up?
so what they have 1 day series too. That's more localized in different
Okay.
regions. Yeah. but the 2 day series, it's you can anybody can qualify.
Okay.
That's what's pretty cool about it, because the first time I started, I went in my first 2 day match, and I'm seeing all these really really good guys that that I know that are freaking awesome, and I'm shooting alongside them. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, there's no qualifications, but you can see exactly where you stack up against the best.
But what when they call it a pro series, are they? So it's not. You don't have to be pro. I mean, how do you earn like pro status? I guess would be my
Okay,
question. Would be the
so they
next
have
question.
different tiers, and they go by percentage. So like at the end of the year, they'll go by what your percentage of shooting is, and or match wins, and I think the top 20% is considered pros, and then
Okay.
the next 10% is considered a semi-pro, and the next 10% is um, what is it, marksman, I think, and
Okay.
then everything below that is amateur.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So I think last year I was considered a pro. So
Nice. Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
and
So you moved up. You moved up. You're very talented to go in and I mean for being like 3 years. Well, 4 years, right?
4 years,
4 years. Yeah. Man, that's cool.
yeah,
Some
but
people take a lifetime and never get there. I'm
yeah,
I'm not
but
laughing. I'm not laughing, but I'm just like just laughing at the situation, not at individuals not getting professional. But man, hey man,
it
there's
takes
skill. There's skill. There's hard work. There's genetics. So all that
it
has
does
to be
take a
taken into
lot.
account.
It takes a lot of hard work and dedication, that's for sure, and money and time.
And
So
skill. Your talents. You can't overlook that talents. Some people got it. Some people can get in there and do it, and while other people like me, I couldn't shoot. I got no aim,
Yeah,
man. I got no.
yeah.
I couldn't even do. I don't even do good in darts, man. So
I don't have that. I don't have that. Like I don't know if it's manual dexterity or the hand eye or something, but I'm
yeah,
I'm a
yeah,
horrible shot
yeah,
as well.
exactly. The hand-eye coordination type. Yeah.
Yeah.
it takes practice. I mean, yeah,
So tell
I'm
us kind
sure.
of tell us
Oh, go ahead.
about some of that. Well, so you've done the pro series and some, I assume some local events too. What was your proudest moment, maybe?
Man, my best placement was at a Pro Series match, and I got sixth place out of, I don't know, maybe 110 shooters or something like that.
All right.
And that was a good accomplishment for me. I was really proud. That was my first trophy, and that was last year. And or was it the year before? Yeah, it was the year before. So, and that was one of my good moments. And also, another one is I shot production last year in a production class, and I took top production in the Central region, which is Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas. So I ended up first place in that category,
All
and
right.
that was pretty nice.
What is production? I don't know the
So
sport.
production is a class under. So we have open class, and then you have other classes below it, and production is pretty much a rifle that's built. That's a production rifle, not a custom rifle.
Ah, I
Yeah.
see.
So custom rifles are going to be gunsmith. Like every detail and everything in that rifle is going to be custom. So
So it's kind of like stock cars and yeah,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
yeah.
I was gonna say
Okay.
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
So
that's pretty cool then. Well, so where do you hope to take this sport? What are your goals in competitive shooting?
in competitive shooting, man, I just want to keep at it. I'd like to win a match one day. That'll be my ultimate goal. But for 2023 is going to the finale with a really good score to put myself in a position to win a bullet. A bullet is it's like top 10. They give the top 10 shooters for the whole season a trophy. It's a bullet, and that'll be a great goal for me. But
It's
yeah.
always a goal. Always. Yeah. I mean, that's what I was gonna ask. Like, how far do you see yourself like from winning a major event? Do you see it happening like in the near future, or do you think it's gonna take some time? Or
Man, I feel like I could do it this year. I feel like you know, it's a lot of competition out there, and it's tough, but man, I feel like I can do it.
Yeah, well, you gotta have that mentality, man. Champions, that mentality. You got to believe in yourself, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Well, I know you haven't been hunting that long, but Co and I were kind of enamored by some of the hunting videos you had on your IG and stuff.
Oh yeah.
It looked like some really cool hunts. So tell us about some of the adventures you had there so far.
Man, I've only been hunting for about a year, but I've done let's see, I don't know, maybe 12 hunts now, you know, and some were successful and some weren't. But you know, I guess it's a learning process. But I think my favorite hunt has to be Hawaii. So I went out there with the family. I had a vacation out there, me and my buddy, and we actually own a food truck together, and we grew up together. We're best friends, and his kid's named after me, and my kid's named after him. So it's a whole thing. But yeah, we took our families out there, and I think we stayed out there for a week. And me and him decided to take one day out to go hunting, and we booked a flight to Maui. We flew out there across the island, the Big Island, to Maui, and man, that view is just it was amazing. On one side of the mount, or on one side of the to your left, you'll see like a whole mountainside, and then to the
Yeah.
right, you'll see a beautiful ocean. And it's just yeah, the view was amazing, and the weather was great. It was nice.
So what do you
So
hunt in Hawaii? What are the animals there that?
so they have a few different animals. They have some access deer, and they have pigs, and they have goats. So we were actually on a goat hunt, and we were pretty much up and down these hills trying to find these goats, and you spot them, and then you try to go get close enough to them, and they run away, and you continue doing it. We probably hiked a few miles, and finally got into a position where we can get a few, and ended up being a real successful trip. Both of us took down two goats, so a goat each.
Yeah, and I believe you have a video on your IG about that. Yeah, I've been to Hawaii. The goats are kind of almost out of control in some areas. They're not native, they're feral,
Yeah,
right? So,
there's a lot. Yeah,
yeah, so there's a lot.
they
So, I mean, go ahead, Arick.
yeah they roll in like big packs, and then so once you find them, it's not hard. You just gotta get close enough to them. So
Yeah.
So what happens to the goat? Like, is it like deer hunting where people like, save the meat and process the meat, or because it's in Hawaii, you gotta let it go, or how
yeah, so we're Laos, right? And Laos
that's why
people, we eat everything, bro. Like we're
that's why
Asian.
I asked. That's why I
So
asked.
so yeah, after we shot the goats, he asked us, do you want to keep the meat? And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
So we cleaned it up, took all the meat, and he vacuum sealed it, and froze it and shipped it back home to us.
Oh man, that's cool.
So
But
yeah,
have
the
you had it
family
yet?
enjoyed it. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's good, man. We made some tacos, and then we made some. I gave it to my mom, and it was Laos New Year's, and they ended up, man, they took a lot of the meat and made a beef jerky or jerky out of it.
Okay.
Goat
Yeah,
jerky. Yeah.
yeah, goat jerky, and the whole family was enjoying that. And I made some
Now,
curry. That was
okay.
pretty
Now,
good.
now, 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 being Laotian, like I've had beef jerky, right? How would you, I don't know, characterize like the goat jerky? Like, how is it? Is it very similar? Is it different? The taste?
The flavor for the
Yeah.
jerky was very similar. The
Okay.
texture, it's a little tough. There's not much fat, so I mean,
Yeah.
but it was good. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
everybody ate it. The whole tray was gone. Like, and then nobody knew it was goat meat until after,
Oh.
Yeah, they don't care. They don't care. Goat's good.
because we
But
had we
Yeah.
had, we had a whole buffet tray line, and the meat's there, and then you just walk by and grab it, and then yeah. So I mean,
So
there's
it
no
looked it
label that
looked
says
it
it's
looked just
goat.
like beef. It looked just like beef jerky. That nobody knew the difference, right?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It did. Yeah. So
Well, it's funny. I asked that, man. 'Cause I remember growing up as a kid, first coming to America, and I'd see like guys fishing, right? And especially like Westerners, like Americans, and like they catch it and then they throw it back. I'm like, What's that guy
Yeah.
doing, man? You just got it. You threw it back. Like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I didn't understand, like, there, I didn't understand there was a sport. I didn't understand that, there's rules and all that. I was like, oh, okay, because we eat for survival, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
about surviving back in Laos. So,
Yeah, I'll tell you a funny story of when my in-laws came and my wife was a child. They came to Texas or Amarillo, and they had a friend coming in from Dumas, Texas, which is I think like an hour up the Panhandle from Amarillo, who hit a deer on the way to their house coming over to visit.
Oh, yeah.
hmm.
So they had been. This was maybe 1981. They'd been in the country like a year or something. So the guy throws the deer in the back of his truck, brings it to my wife's house. Her dad worked in the slaughterhouse. He's a butcher, so they're like, "Hey." They butcher the thing up. They're grilling it outside. They're packing the freezer. All of a sudden, they get a knock on the door. It's the game warden.
Oh,
One of the
oh,
next door neighbors looks over the fence and says, "Hey, you guys, these guys got a deer out of season." So they come in, they take it all, they cite them, and they're saying, "What?" They couldn't understand. They said, "So we're supposed to let it rot in the street, right? It doesn't
Yeah.
make any
yeah,
sense. We were like
yeah,
hungry in Laos. I mean, people are starving other
yeah.
places, and you're supposed to let this rot in the street." It's just a funny story
Yeah.
when they first came.
It's so true. That's how the mentality is of our people, because they came from nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Had to restart their whole life, everything. So
yeah,
it's surviving. I mean, I remember this. I remember people accusing us of this and that. I mean, I just, back in the day, it was like, you guys eat dog and stuff. It's like, now that I didn't go for it. Like, man, we didn't steal your pet or anything. We ain't doing that.
yeah,
No, I
yeah.
mean, no, that was,
Those
you know.
stereotypes and all that.
yeah,
Yeah, I didn't.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
with you doing hunting, any ideas on any plans on like maybe doing something like a safari type hunt? Is that something that you would be open to?
Man, I'd love to do something like that, but it's not in the books yet. I
Okay.
think
Big
for
money.
2023, I have a couple of plans. I want to do an elk hunt in Colorado, and that's going to be fun. We're going to plan to stay out there, maybe 2 weeks, and stay out in the woods and hopefully find some elk. And
Wow.
then
Nice.
mule deer would be cool. I'd like to do a mule deer hunt, but man, those
What type of deer?
safari hunts,
What type of
mule
deer?
deer,
No.
They're like a bigger
It's
version of those ones that we have around here,
yeah,
Co.
oh, okay.
it's
Yeah,
a little bigger, yeah.
yeah. They're cool. Well, Arick, hunting sometimes gets a bad rap by some people, but to be honest, a lot of the hunters I know are probably the biggest conservationists because if you don't have land, if you don't have animals, you're not hunting. And then
Yeah.
also, like you with the goats, they're invasive. They're actually destroying the environment. They don't belong there. They're out of control. So tell us, how can people sustainably hunt and have a positive impact on wildlife? What are your
Man,
thoughts?
I would say that I know a lot of hunters and fishermen, and everything that we do is run by the states and the government, and they tax you, like, for each animal that you take you have to pay for a tag or a license and fees, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of that, maybe 100% of that, goes back into the conservation of these animals, and the lands too, the state lands, the government lands and all that. It's being protected and funded by hunters, fishermen, outdoorsmen, and without that money, and they wouldn't be able to do that. I mean, as fast as the U.S. is growing, and there's
Hmm.
buildings and cement everywhere, and if those areas weren't protected, in 10, 20, 50 years from now, you might not have nothing. But in the future, we know that they'll be there for our kids and our grandkids, and for everyone. And a lot of that money goes back into it, and that's how
Yeah,
I feel about it, at least. I mean, and it's a natural thing. So
yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Now I had a question going back to competition, right? Um, do you see like other Laotians or Asians getting involved with precision shooting, or would you consider like are you like one of the only Asians in the group shooting?
I would definitely say we are a minority
Oh,
in the group.
yeah.
There's not very many. There are a few, and there are some really good, and I'd probably say I can count the number of Asians that shoot that are at a pretty good level, high level is going to be probably I can count them all on one hand, in the
Yeah.
U.S. So, but yeah, there's not very many, and it's I don't think there's any, maybe a couple Laos. Yeah.
And the organization is pretty welcoming.
Yeah, yeah, everybody's welcoming, man. It's amazing how the community and the precision rifle, they're just they're willing to help you in any way. Your equipment goes down, they're willing to lend you equipment. My very first match, my buddy took me to, and I didn't know what I was doing. I brought a gun that wasn't really made for precision rifle. It was an AR-15, and it, yeah, I'm sitting there shooting an AR-15 at a competition, and I can't hit nothing. I think the very first stage, I got 3 shots off out of 12, and I missed all 3. And then, anyways, so that gun ends up jamming, and a bullet gets stuck in the chamber, and I can't do anything. And I'm 2 stages in, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess that's my match. I'm not gonna finish shooting. And one of the guys come up to me and says, I got a spare rifle and some ammo. If you want to shoot, you can shoot my rifle. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, you're gonna let me use your custom gun? It's like $10,000 rifle. And he's like, yeah, bro, check it out. And I'm like, okay. So I finished the match, and I paid him for the ammo. He didn't want to take my money, but I paid him for it. And I was hooked since then, man. Like, I went home. I had my tail tucked in because I suck bad. But that's what drove me to really want to pursue it more. And
that's another question. That's another question I wanted to ask you, because you mentioned that there's a lot of money involved in this sport. Like, yeah, what is your average rifle cost? Does it cost to compete? What's ammunition like? Tell me some of the expenses.
Yeah, so I would say to get started, you probably a minimum of maybe $3,000 for a rifle.
A rifle,
but
okay.
it can go up to 10. Just it just depends on how much money you want to spend, and that's just the basics, and then match fees and all that. Every time that I travel for a pro match, it's like altogether I'm probably spending like $1,000 on hotel and food.
Oh, you got to pay for your own travel, huh?
Yeah, yeah. So a lot of the sport, there's no like real sponsor. There's no real money being made. You know what I mean? People do it because they love it, and that's their passion. And that's me. I spent a lot of my time and money into it, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. So, but yeah, it gets expensive. So a lot of stuff ammo right now is pretty expensive. So we had the shortage whenever Biden took office, and people were just buying up all the components and ammo, and the prices it drove. Huh?
How much are you spending on ammo? Let's say for a competition, how much would you spend on ammo?
So for one match is usually 200 rounds, and then you probably want to take another 100 rounds so you can make sure your rifle's shooting well, and then just in case you have any hiccups or anything like that. So if you're looking at 300 rounds, maybe 250, it's, man, I want to say like $500.
Okay.
On ammo.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, just on ammo.
It's I think it's like $2 a round right now.
$2 a round, yeah, man, that's crazy.
Yeah, but I'm not really sure because I make all my own ammo, so I don't really count it like that. You know what I mean?
Tell us about that. Tell us about how you make your own ammo.
So once you start shooting and you really get into it, you really want to make your own ammo. It's suited for your rifle. You know what I mean? So it can shoot, to its full potential. If you just buy box ammo from the store, it's like it's all the same ammo, and then whenever you throw it in your rifle, it might shoot well, it might not, But
Can you tell us the
process? So we take the brass, and then I have all different kind of equipment right here. This is a press. I don't know if you can see that, but this is a press right here.
Yeah.
And yeah, pretty much. And then I have a powder throw on this side, which
okay.
They'll throw the powder for me, and I'll take the brass, and we'll prep the brass and all that. Then once it's ready, we'll put powder or put a primer in it. We'll put powder to the exact amount of powder every time, and then we'll put it on the press and put a bullet on there, and then seat it, and and we'll be ready to go. It's a lot more complicated than that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's just the basics of it.
Are there any safety precautions? I mean, dealing with the gunpowder, or is it
Yeah, you need.
fairly
Well, I mean, it's fairly stable. If you take gunpowder and you burn it, it's not going to explode. Like I can
okay?
dump out a whole bunch, it's just going to burn. But if you
Ah,
confine it into like a chamber, that's when it'll blow. So, but yeah, I mean, a couple other precautions is with primers. When you're seating primers, you just got to be careful, and there's different ways of doing that. But,
yeah. So if by making it instead of buying it, $2 or so to buy it off the shelf, how much do you save? Maybe 50% or so? Half the price, or is it hard to
man,
tell? I know because you
it,
buy in bulk,
it's it sounds
but
like you save money, but to get started, it can be fairly expensive.
okay,
If you want to start on the low end, you could probably start reloading for, I don't know, pretty cheap, but
yeah,
it's going to cost a lot of time and it's going to take you a lot of time. But with the equipment that I have, it makes it really fast and quick, which, it saves me a lot of time because I'm shooting a lot,
yeah,
but the price gets up there, so I've probably spent, man, thousands. I don't even want to say the number.
yeah,
My
yeah.
wife might hear this podcast, but
So how many bullets can you make, let's say, in an hour? Or
uh, so for a match, let's just say for a match, right?
yeah.
300 rounds. I'd probably, it take me when I get off work, I'll probably spend 3 hours in the garage
Okay.
and for 3 nights.
Wow,
Okay,
it's like
So
9 hours. We're talking about 9 hours then.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
about total, maybe a little bit less, but yeah, I would say around 9 hours. But if I can get everything prepped, just physically loading it, I can do it in a couple hours. So,
Okay. Ah, interesting. Interesting.
but I break it down into steps, and it's a lot of ammo to load, man. I probably loaded like 7,000 rounds last year. So
oh
Wow.
wow,
yeah, the year before that, I loaded even more than that. I shot just in matches alone. I probably shot like 6,000 rounds, but I probably did like 8 to 10.
wow, 8 to 10,000 shooting 6,000 in matches. That's a lot of ammo.
That's a lot of
It,
money.
it's a lot of money. We didn't want to say that because your wife might listen to this, but
Your food truck must be doing good, man, huh?
Yeah, it's
Food
doing
truck's
pretty
doing good.
good.
Tell us
Yeah.
about tell us about the food
yeah.
truck.
So I got a buddy. We grew up together, and we're best friends. And when his wife got pregnant, at that time, my girlfriend had gotten pregnant, like around the same time. He's like, bro, remember when we were younger, we said we're gonna name our kids after each other? Well, he had his kid first, right? And
Yeah.
he told me this while we're in the hospital, and then he goes, I named my kid after you. And I was like, he's like, you got to name your kid. I was like, wait, hold on. I never said that. He's like, yeah,
Oh,
you did. It's too late. I already named him. And I'm like,
oh, dude.
oh. But
Yeah.
yeah, we ended up naming our kids after each other. And he was my best man at my wedding. And
Awesome.
so he'd been in the restaurant business a long time. And he really wanted to break out and do his own thing. And at that time, I was, I had some money saved. And he was, he was asking our friends and family, hey, is anybody interested in being partners? And so I ended up, getting involved with that. Man, it was a great decision, So it's doing well, and it's with my good friend, and
What type of
uh,
food? Like Lao food?
it's actually hibachi. Yeah,
Okay.
Oh,
yeah. So yeah, it's really good. It's located in a college town, not too far from here, Denton.
oh, okay.
So
University of North Texas, right?
yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
so
Who does the cooking?
my buddy, he did it for a few years, and now he's gotten to the point where he's able to hire some help and take a little bit of time off, and we've been doing a lot of hunts together and stuff.
Nice.
So
So is it mobile? Do you bring it around to other places, pop-up events, things like that, or is it pretty much just stay there?
it stays there. Yeah,
Okay.
we got a good location that does really well, and it's actually in the parking lot of a bar, and
Oh, okay.
yeah, so outside the bar they hang out and drink, and they have games, and we stay open till like 2 a.m. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. That's they don't got to go far to get food. I mean, people walk out of the bar and they're just thinking food. So
yeah, get the munchies and hanging
yeah,
out. So
Yeah, that's true. But we'd love to see it pull up the Lao New Year in Saginaw one day. I don't know.
yeah,
Well, that's cool.
it
So
was
what's
an
in?
idea.
Yeah, that'd be. I mean, what's the name of the truck? We want to give it a little shout out on the show here.
So the name of the truck is called the Saucy Hibachi, and we're right behind the East Side Bar in Denton. And yeah, if you guys ever out this way, holla at me. I'll take you guys out there.
Yeah, for sure.
I was out in Dallas a while back for a bodybuilding competition, but that was years ago. So
Okay.
I didn't get to see much of the town. I just saw the hotel and the venue. So.
Yeah. I feel you. When I go on these shooting competitions, it's the same way. I see nothing but trees and woods and country because it's usually not in the city because it's far out. And yeah, that's pretty much all I see.
Like what locations are you? You mentioned Hawaii. You mentioned Colorado. Where else have you gone for your competitions?
So for competitions, those are for the hunts. But for competitions,
okay.
yeah. So I've been, North Carolina. I go to Tennessee a lot. There's a big complex out there, and I think I probably went 3 times this year. And that's where the central of the PRS is, and it's in Finger, Tennessee, and then Oklahoma, Kansas, New Mexico, Colorado. I mean, they're everywhere. But I try to go where I can drive. I don't like to fly too much, but I've flown a few times. I went to Wyoming and I flew out there, and I flew out to North Carolina. I flew to Tennessee before, and but I try not to. It saves you a little bit on money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah. So I like, and then you can bring all your stuff, right? So if you're flying, it's expensive, and you have to pay more for big bags and all this equipment and gear.
So to check like bullets and guns into a plane, is that a big issue, or is it they have a good process?
It's not a big issue, but you need to know what you're doing. You need to research it. Once you know what you're doing, it's fairly simple. You have to set up your rifle case in a certain way and your ammo a certain way. And when you go there, you just let them know, hey, I got a gun. They usually want to open it, check it, and then they'll check you in. And then if they have any issues, like after they brought it back, they'll give you a call, like if they need to open the case or have any questions and stuff like that. But you just got to be careful. As long as you know what you're doing and you do it the way they want you to do it, then you're golden.
Interesting. I get enough stress flying myself through customs, man. Just
the first time when I
can imagine carrying a gun through going through customs or
pretty nervous.
Or to the airport.
It's pretty normal for me now. So I carry my pistol everywhere, and if I can bring it to a state, I will lock it up and bring my pistol with me. So I mean, it's a pretty simple process once you learn it. So
yeah.
So Arick, I watch the Olympics and I see a lot of shooting events there. Is this a similar style, or tell us a little bit about the Olympic shooting and what you know about it?
So Olympic shooting is going to be a little bit different, and it's right now the type of shooting that we're doing is practical precision rifle shooting, and it's very, very young. So I think it started maybe in 2012, and for a sport that's very, very young, and it's been growing since. And honestly, I don't know if it were to ever become in the Olympics, that'd be awesome. Right now they have a big one, a big competition, a world competition. I think they hold it every 2 years, and it just started. The first one was this year or 2022, and who knows where it'll go from there. But yeah, it's still a young sport, and everybody's still learning, and it's pretty cool.
You could be a trailblazer, man, for Laotians. Like get more Laotians involved, get them shooting, and you're the pioneer.
Yeah, so, if anybody wants to shoot, and they if you think you want to shoot and you're in this area, even if you're not in Texas area, I'll come to you if there's a match in your area. We can go shoot together.
And your DMs might blow up after you say that. You might get people messaging you on IG. So
right, I might regret that one.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's good. Well, just one last question I have. If somebody wants to get into competitive shooting, what advice would you have for them other than write a big check?
I would say just get out there and shoot, find out if you like it. You don't even need to buy equipment. So a lot of these matches, they have what they call loaner guns and ammo. So like if you are interested, you call them up and find them on social media. Hey, I'm interested in shooting. They have guns you can borrow and you don't have to spend money to buy it. You just pay for the ammo and try it out, see if you like it, and you get to see what other people are using and and all that and yeah, just get out there and try it. That's it. That's the number one. And if you're ever in Texas,
I got one question, John. I was like, who does I like your IG videos, bro. Like who does that? Okay, so, cool, man. I was like, it's really like.
So I sat there. I learned how to do it myself, kind of.
Nice.
YouTube and stuff like that. But I just try to make it look pretty cool and interesting.
It is, man. That's what I noticed when I went to visit your page, man. It's really cool videos, man.
Yeah, I have a YouTube, but that one's mainly for family. So if you end up pulling on my YouTube, you'll see a bunch of family videos and vacations and stuff like that. But I've never really got into social media, but just by if I want to be more known, I need to start doing social media and stuff and be more active. So that's why I started posting more and learning how to make some videos, basic videos and stuff like that. And I use my phone. So I told myself I'm not going to buy any expensive equipment for that. It's just a hobby, having a good time, posting some cool stuff. But yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're already spending enough on guns, man. You don't need spending any more on cameras and all that fancy video orders and stuff, man. So
yeah.
Well, good. Well, everybody can follow you on IG, Arick Souvanna, and it's Arick with an A. That's why I accidentally called you Arick at the beginning. But it's Arick with an A on IG. You guys could follow him, check out some of these cool shooting and hunting videos. So with that, anything else for Arick before we wrap up here?
No, it's been a great interview, and I'm really happy you came on tonight. So it's great having you as a guest.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, and listeners, if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, particularly north of there in Denton, be sure to check out the Saucy Hibachi food truck in that area, right? Best hibachi, especially if you want to hang out at a late night college bar or something like that, right? It's the way to go. So thanks so much for coming on, Arick. Great interview.
All right. Thank you.
All right. See you later, everybody. Have a good one.
The C4 podcast is brought to you by the Lao American Sports Hall of Fame. Visit us on the web at laoamericansports.com, celebrating the first, inspiring the next.